The Zapatero case implicates former Socialist Minister José Bono. Let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Medidas Cautelares. Pay close attention because the investigation into the so-called Plus Ultra case or Zapatero case is revealing a lot. And pay attention because one of the next people implicated in this case is none other than the former Minister of Defense from the Socialist Party, José Bono. A classic, a legendary figure who has always been under the shadow of suspicion and who has always managed to get away. So pay attention, because he is mentioned in the Plus Ultra case in the latest reports from the Economic and Fiscal Crime Unit of the National Police, the UDEF, which we have learned about. We're going to share this information on screen as always. By the way, if you haven't done it yet, remember to subscribe to the Medidas Cautelares channel. We're so close to reaching 137,000 subscribers and we need to get to 150,000 soon. And we already have this information on screen. The messages from Gertrude, the famous secretary of José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, already popularly known as Gertrude. Well then, the messages from Gertrude to Zapatero, and I quote, "Bono is telling me to send that message from you to that gentleman? Should I do it?" Gertrude, Zapatero's secretary, asks herself. And there you have an image of the messages that have been intercepted as part of this Zapatero case, the Plus Ultra case. And there you have the main characters, José Bono on one side, and on the other side, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, the incomparable former president of the government, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, who has already been caught red-handed. And now let's delve deeper into this information. The Economic and Fiscal Crime Unit of the National Police, UDEF, has found hundreds of messages from the secretary of former Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, María Gertrudis, and her boss. That's how she had saved the former PSOE leader. So Gertrudis had Zapatero listed in her contacts as boss. In these messages, you can read that Zapatero and his former defense minister are also linked to alleged business dealings coming from Latin America or even in the Dominican Republic. José Bono, he continued to maintain a close relationship. The Economic and Fiscal Crime Unit has carried out new proceedings requested by the head of the Central Investigative Court No. 4 of the National Court, José Luis Calama, aimed at learning more in depth about the activity of the alleged criminal organization that would be led by the former head of the executive. Just think about the seriousness of what we're talking about, that a former president of the government is the leader of a criminal organization. This is what we're talking about in this Plus Ultra case, the Zapatero case. Among these new proceedings, hundreds of messages from Zapatero's secretary, Gertrudis, have been found. They have revealed that the former president of the government, for example, as I told you the other day, allegedly received a bribe of 200,000 euros in exchange for influencing the Constitutional Chamber of the Departmental Court of Justice of La Paz, Bolivia, in charge of constitutional matters, so that the Bolivian state would forgive a debt of $107 million to a Peruvian company. In other words, these defenders of international law. Well, here you have your Adalis Zapatero, who is doing nothing less than interfering in the justice system of another country. These are the same people who always defended international law when the United States took Maduro. Well, here you have Zapatero meddling in the jurisdiction of another country, Bolivia. An annex to the UDEF report, 1,084 pages long, to which we at Medidas Cautelares and Libertad Digital have had access. It reveals the messages intercepted by the agents between Gertrudis and the former president of the government from April 25 until May of 2026. During this period, Zapatero's secretary organizes a lunch with lawyers, quoting Bono. This likely refers to José Bono, the former Minister of Defense. This is precisely a lunch related to the arrangements that Zapatero made for the Peruvian company, whose debt of $107 million was forgiven by the state of Bolivia, in exchange for the kickback that Zapatero received for that mediation, no less than 200,000 euros. Well, Secretary Gertrudis mentions the former socialist president of Castilla-La Mancha again in September 2025 after forwarding him an indecipherable photograph. Bono tells me to send that message from you to that gentleman. Should I do it? Zapatero replies briefly, yes, yes. A few hours later, a call made by the leader of the Socialists to his secretary is recorded. And here you have those messages indeed. Those messages where you can clearly read, Bono tells me that I should send that message on your behalf to that gentleman. Should I do it? This is what Gertrudis says to Zapatero, and Zapatero replies with yes, yes. Alright, just as we can see a minute later. In May 2025, Maria Gertrudis asks him to confirm a new meeting with the former socialist minister. Bono, you had arranged for XX13 at 1:30 p.m. He was asking me for confirmation, okay? This month. This message is framed within other matters about projects she asks Zapatero about. He again responds affirmatively to the meeting. Yes, I can meet with Bono, yes. Regarding this last meeting, there seems to have been a change in the schedule, as inferred from a new message from Zapatero's secretary, whom he has saved in his contacts as boss. And it says literally, what plans are there for next week? We tried to schedule you on Wednesday before El Bono with Jose Juan Ruiz, or maybe on Monday, and we offer another day or the same Wednesday. Lunch with the Chinese ambassador, although he usually has a complicated schedule and it's more long-term. That's what I was writing, Gertrudis. And the messages intercepted by the Economic and Fiscal Crime Unit of the National Police to Zapatero's secretary, Gertrudis, shows that Zapatero continued to maintain a very close relationship with his former Minister of Defense, José Bono, a former socialist leader who, although has been under suspicion for years, has always come out unscathed from all the investigations he has been subjected to. However, Bono's name now appears again in the context of this Plus Ultra case. Zapatero case, we'll see what comes out of the investigation into José Bono. If new messages appear that point to alleged crimes, to alleged irregularities affecting the former Socialist Defense Minister, José Bono, who, as I said, has always been under suspicion for years and has always come out unscathed. He has avoided any investigation that was directed at him. We will see if, starting from this Zapatero case and the little deals and shady business of the former Prime Minister in other countries, the figure of José Bono comes up, as we say. Any updates on this matter and any judicial news, you'll find them here on Medidas Cautelares. That's it for this edition of Medidas Cautelares. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, leave me your opinions and comments. Do you think Bono will end up going down? Because for now, he's been implicated in this matter, but there are still no criminal indications of any kind against him. Do you think that if the investigation continues, it will eventually reach Bono? Please leave me your comments, as I always read them very carefully. Also, as always, thank you for your support. Medidas Cautelares is gaining subscribers, first of all, due to the suspicion, and secondly, Medidas Cautelares is gaining subscribers both firstly and secondly. Also, members like those who joined for less than €3 a month and like Supreme members for even less. It has been freed from alleged irregularities that affect the month and as Supreme members by Minister for €7 a month. You can also make contributions via Bizum at 627-556-370, 627-556-370. Key, as always, is Defense 627-556-370, ensuring this info reaches everyone. The information has been suspicious. Has come out. Poder. Hasta pronto.